All right, back in the shop again today. So I'm building this. Let's see if we can see this a little better. Maybe. So this is going to be a cabinet. I have recently, I guess you could say, kind of invented something. I guess it's an invention. I came up with an idea, I guess, that I'm gonna start mass producing and selling. This is gonna be the cabinet for the CNC router that I just bought. So down in here I'll have my shop vac. The router will sit here on this table. These will be hard sides out of some kind of particle board or plywood. It'll have a top on it that'll hinge this way, and then I'm thinking I'm going to put two doors here that open this way that are plexiglass so I can see my router running. Like I said, this top will open up just in case I got to get in there and do something with the router. In between these two sides there'll be an inside piece, outside piece. I'm going to insulate this with hard foam to try to keep some of this noise down. Same with where my shop vac's going to go. It'll be insulated also, just keep the noise from the shop vac down. I'm going to put this in the loft in my shop, and we're going to try to mass produce this idea that I have. Yeah, I got all the software and stuff. I got everything drawn up in there. I guess I should tell you, but my background is CNC machining. I've been doing it for like 18 years. For a company that works here. It was bought out by a bigger company. I still currently work for them. I'm hoping this will kind of take off, and this will be my livelihood now. I'll just do this one part that came up with, and we'll see where it goes. It seems like a really good idea. I'll make some good money off of it, hopefully enough to quit my job someday. So that's where we're at. That's what I'm going to be doing today. It's all going to be made out of wood and some like hard foam board. My router is supposed to show up this Saturday actually, so I'm trying to get this thing busted out so I can get the router mounted in there. And I'm gonna have to heat this because my shop, as you guys all know, it's just got that wood stove and there's no ceiling in my shop, so I'm gonna have to heat this thing. I've been looking at, they make outside dog kennel heaters that you can mount in the side of a dog kennel. I think that's what I'm going to do, just keep the CNC from getting too cold. I also got up in my loft, I got a corner cabinet up there that I got from my dad. It was part of an entertainment center that he built a long time ago. That's where my computer's going to go. My CNC will sit right next to that. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. We'll see how far I get. I drew this up the other day while I was at work. My CNC was running, so I drew this up while I was at work. So that's what we're going to work on. This is my Shapeoko Pro. I got it all set up to cut these tables that me and my wife came up with, and we've sold quite a few of them already. I had another sale last night, so I cut these 3 at a time, make them out of this stuff right here. It's HDP foam. It's a dual core, so it's black white. So as you cut through the black, you'll see the white. Similar to this, these are my stops. So I set my thing up here and I cut 2 at a time, then I flip my board around and I cut the 3rd one. So I get 3 out of a board. So I'll get that up and going. We'll get it cutting. I'll try to shut this door, trying to keep some of the noise down. My material, the first 2 tables, it does overhang, so I can't shut the door all the way. I could cut the board off. I realize that, but I'm like, why, when the router's going to do it for me? So I let it overhang. It makes a little bit of mess up here in my loft, but other than that, it does a pretty good job. It's a pretty good little machine. I built this whole cabinet. I didn't record anything when I built the cabinet, so if anyone's curious about it, let me know and I can kind of let you know how I built it. All these, the whole floor, the roof, everything is actually insulated for noise, and my shop isn't heated year round. I was going to put a heater in here to keep this thing warm because CNC machines kind of need to be at a certain temperature all the time. I'm just kind of winging it right now. I don't have the money to put the roof in my shop or get my heater working full time, so it kind of is what it is. this, I do have a tarp on here because it does kind of rain in my building sometimes, depending on the temperature outside and the temperature in the building. I do get some off of my roof there because it's just tin. It'll rain in here a little bit, so I covered this just with the tarp, but this lid does lift up so you don't hit your head on it when you're in there setting up your material and stuff. So I'll kind of show you how I do this. I literally throw that up there, nail it down. I have all my programs written, so I'll change a bit, set my Z, and away it'll go. It'll run, I think it takes me 2 hours to cut 2 tables, and I flip it and I cut a third one for a little over an hour, something like that. So I think altogether it's like 3.5 hours, something like that, that takes me to cut like 3 tables. So then I got a bunch of manual stuff that I do over here with legs and drilling taps on holes and cleaning up with my flush cut router bit that I have built in here. It's got a different bit in there because I was doing something else, but this will be the one that we're gonna run. It's just flush cuts, so I tab everything, so where my material's at, it'll leave a little tab. I bust the tabs out, and then I come over here, flush cut router it. But I built this whole table too. It has, as you can see, I was doing some wood, so it's got a little bit of sawdust in it still. So, but I'll show you guys that as I get going here. Boy, my battery's about dying. So here's my material. As you guys can see, it hangs over. I realized I could cut this off. I just don't want the extra step of cutting it off, so I just leave the door open. But what I do, I just take my brad nailer, I nail this down in 6 spots, and I start my program. My XY starts back here in the corner where I got my little XY stop block there. That's my XY. Then I get 1 table there, 1 table here. Then I pull it up, pop the table out, spin this around, and then start cutting the other one. So pretty much just go out here on the ends and just use 1-inch brad nails, just enough to hold this down. Just do it in right in the corners because my tables aren't near that. And then I got this marked right here, so mark my thing right there. It says nail, so I know if I put a nail here, I won't hit it with my cutter. Same with on this side. And then I gotta move my machine over there so I can get that last corner. Wait for this thing to. My computer's pretty slow out here just because it sits in the cold all the time. Seems like it takes forever for it to turn on. There it is. Yeah, you can see there's a file where I was cutting my pieces for this bookshelf I was making with some MDF stuff. So we'll get this machine turned on. Where is it? Whoops, that was the wrong one. Alright. Connect to file. Start the machine up. It does its little kind of warm up. It homes all of its axes right now is what it's doing. As it's doing that, I can get this last one nailed. So now my material's stuck down onto my wasteboard here. This is your wasteboard. I made that a while ago when I first got the machine. Alright. We're gonna have to switch bits here in a minute. It's gonna ask me to check my tool. It's gonna come over here, hit my tool setter, set my tool length, then I can go set my XY and my Z, because I know I moved it from last time because I was cutting something else. Alright, so I'm gonna get this thing cut. Alright, I did want to show you guys this. So if you guys have one of these Shapeokos or you're thinking about buying one, to move the machine around, just to kind of jog it around to set your XY, set your Z, you have to use the keyboard off the computer. My computer sits around the edge of my cabinet, back in this cabinet that used to be in my dad's house. I hated pulling the keyboard around, so I bought this little thing. This thing was super cheap on Amazon. I think I paid like $9 for it, but it is absolutely great for this because it's so small. You literally, I mean, it's like the size of my hand. It's like a Nintendo controller, but it makes it really easy to move this machine around where I want to set my XY, or just to jog around. If you're just doing like a straight cut, you can just grab this and, you know, just hold the button down and it'll cut. I would suggest getting something like this for this machine because there's really no way to move this machine around without the keyboard.